afternoon, and thank you for tuning in today. I am happy to be here for another episode of our Alumni Virtual Engagement Series. This is a video series where we talk with the Manor College alumni to hear about their experience as a student and what life has been like since graduating from Manor. My name is Kelly Peiffer, and I am the Vice President of Marketing Communications. Today, I am joined by Manor College alumni Kayla Armstrong from the class of 2019. Kayla grew up in Hatboro and attended Hatboro Horsham Senior High before enrolling in Manor's early childhood education program. Currently, Kayla is a job coach for teens and young adults with intellectual disabilities at Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. Welcome, Kayla. Thank you for joining me today.
For having me, Kelly.
So, Kayla, start us off by sharing, why did you choose Manor? How did you learn about Manor College?
If I can remember, I started in 2015 of the fall semester, and I believe it was actually like I was just looking at colleges online, and I just was trying to find something that fit my needs because at the time I wasn't driving, so I had to make sure commute wise, and I found Manor actually on the internet on a Google search engine. Like I was just looking up 2-year schools, and Manor was actually like the second link that popped up.
Well, as someone who oversees our marketing, I love to hear that, frankly, because we work very hard to make
Yeah,
sure when you Google the right things, we're going to pop up. So
yeah,
that's wonderful to hear.
yeah.
And so, Kayla, tell us, what was your Manor experience like? What were you involved with? How were your classes? And kind of describe, what was your years at Manor like for you?
Sure. So I was part-time for when I first started because I was actually doing like 2 courses a semester when I first started because I was working. I did work all through my semesters. I was at Manor. I was a commuter, so I was working full-time and doing schooling. So my first degree, I changed my major about like 4 times when I was at Manor. I was first liberal arts, and then I said, okay, I'm going to change it to nursing. Nursing didn't work out, so I went back to liberal arts. Liberal arts to psychology didn't work out. And then finally, actually, my final major was liberal arts to early childhood education, which is my associate's degree, because Dr. Sheree Crosby, who's our was my advisor slash professor and mentor, she's the one that told me to check them out, and she's like, "Yeah, have you look into it?" And I'm like, "Okay." And she put me into her one course one time, and I fell in love ever since.
Mm.
So my experience was really good. Like I did have some downfall a little bit just with like because as someone who has a disability, I used actually definitely the accommodations
Mhm.
like people have. So I was having a little hard time with that, but I did use that for my advantage. I used the tutoring
Mhm.
with a lot of the courses. Especially math. Math was not is not my strong suit. I had actually, I believe Leslie was my teacher, Leslie
Mhm.
Weinfield, and then I had philosophy with Mike Landis. Like so, like the prereq course of bio
Mhm.
online, and then yeah, I took bio online, which was crazy. But my whole experience was really great. Like I always said, Manor was like the first school that accepted me for who I was.
Mhm.
Like I had remember when I was like looking at schools and the accommodations, and especially because some schools said I would accommodate you, but they really did not have accommodations there. So they
Mhm.
didn't have it in writing. So finding how Manor was, like how they were opening about the course the slogan says you belong here, it shows that I was belong there, especially given the fact that like they helped me. And so like with as how Cherie was and how I used the therapy, which was with Christine Price, that I used her for a lot of the stuff. I used a lot of different advisors support throughout the stuff. I did EC club, I did like the Basley bread making, I did like It's On Us campaign. I did like the track. I didn't do like I was going to track, but then it just didn't work out for my schedule
Mhm.
because I was working still. But I did help out once in a while a little bit, and then I got involved with the marketing stuff with the pictures, which actually into that before I left, I was on a billboard in Manor, which was really amazing to see because I was famous. I couldn't believe I was on a billboard going down to a city, but it was just nice to see my picture on it. But yeah, so like my whole experience, I feel like was definitely something I would always remember because it's actually where I felt like I could be myself and just go into school and like know I could get my degree here and like I wish I could back or had cert there because like it's something I would love to, but
Yeah.
I know time has changed. But it's good that like I could always say Manor was my first school.
Mm, that's great. Well, that's great to hear. And I love hearing kind of how, so much of what you described, like you worked full time, you started part time, you changed majors. These are all very common scenarios we find that our students are in. Over 85% of our students work either part time or full time while a student at Manor. So, like, that's the majority of our population. It's super common to change majors. Again, like I feel the more we normalize that the better for everyone, frankly. It's really hard to know going into college right off the bat, I'm definitely going to study this subject. That's a hard question to ask. So I
It
think it's
is.
cool how you got to kind of try different things and have the self-awareness of like, okay, that's not for me. And then try something else and okay, that is for me.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for kind of sticking with it because that could get really frustrating and trying to like, oh, why isn't anything, working out? But I'm really glad that you kind of found a home in
Yeah.
EC with Dr. Crosby Weeks, who's fantastic. So Kayla, talk to me about once you graduated from Manor, how did you feel prepared to enter the job market and kind of what did you find yourself doing for a job after you graduated?
So I did actually use a lot of advantage of actually Dr. Sheree Crosby weeks. So I knew her as Crosby, not Weeks, but I still know her as Weeks now. But what I used her and I used also Christine Price from the counseling to help me because like she had like that career
Mhm.
stuff to help out. So I kind of used her to help
Mhm.
me for advantage. I was already working in education at the
Mhm.
time. I was working actually in my alumni Apple Horsham School District. So like I was slowly working there as a personal care assistant
Okay.
at the time. So like I was okay with like being in education,
Yeah.
but I wanted to at that time I wanted to teach. So
Mm.
I was trying to actually like around like 'cause at the time I was graduating, Manor was starting at the bachelor degree program going and I was already looking at other schools for cert. I wasn't really like I was going to go back to the Manor, but then I said, okay, she said, "Yeah, if you want your certification, you really should like look somewhere else." And
Mm.
I said, that is true, because like I didn't want like because I didn't know at the time we didn't have no cert at Manor. So I'm like, okay, where can I go to do? So she even helped me look at schools to make sure what fits my needs too. So like what school help run the like make sure my stuff gets transferred, right? Or and then also too, Christine did too, like and asked me like, would you want to be in daycare or would you want to be like stay where you're at, like or and of course, like I said, I stay where I'm at because it's more because never wanted to be in daycare. I love the little kids like that, but I was already doing that with my observations and every day I was almost getting sick, so I did not want to do more of it. But I think that what prepared me for it was like just like going to Christine and going to my advisors because even like having Shuri and then having Christine in my corner, making sure I'm making the right decision, kind of helped me because like I was scared leaving Manor because of like I did not know where to go. Like I want to make sure I picked the right school, and of course with my transfer school, it was okay. It didn't get me where I needed to be, but it was still like it got me my bachelor's, of course. But like it's just like having that um their support and making sure and yeah, I still have their support with education. I know like as I'm now in grad school, Sheree and I still talk about grad school because she told me when we were in class and for a story, still quickly, she did tell me like, someone has to beat her doctorate degree. And of course, at my master's, I have one more degree. but it's true though, like how stuff like that is like I use her stuff as advantage of making sure like all my stuff looks good or
Mm.
making sure like do I email my professors where can I get my accommodations at or
Mhm.
and so forth. And so
Mhm. It's so cool to hear how you describe a relationship with a professor, Dr. Crosby Weeks, as not just like she teaches you, she grades your stuff, that's it. It's really much more of a relationship. She's advising you, she's giving you advice, she's there for you when you need her. And I feel like that's really a culture here at Manor. We try to make sure it's not just students in, students out, and that's it. It's much more mentorship, friendship, and really I would say cheerleading, making sure that our students are being cheered on and being prepared and given the help that they need,
Yeah,
whatever that might mean. It might
yeah,
mean, hey, can you review my resume? Can you read my email? Can you help me find a job? Can you give me some advice on this decision I have to make? So
yeah,
it's great to hear that that was your situation, and that's kind of how it felt like it gave you guidance for
yeah.
the rest of your education and career. So that's really cool to see.
It's not just free too. I even had like, Tom Sims. I had like Mary Sims, like, because Mary was in that same department as her, like in the same office. So like I had her, I had like Michael Landis, like I had all,
Hmm.
Mike Landis was my professor of philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the whole people, even the librarians, like Donna was there at the time, and like who Donna was like a librarian at my time, so like she was there. Even the people in missions, like you guys were there.
Mm-hmm.
Even Barbara Fiona, who's my billing lady. But like it's just like it was just nice to have like a like I always say it's a family feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got and even President Perry too. Like I feel like I go to him or Miss Ann. Like I feel like I can go to all
Mm-hmm.
everyone like who's has like you could be there and like have that corner. So it's like nice to feel
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's great. So Kayla, tell me, why are you like what makes you passionate about education, particularly special education? And kind of what are you hoping to see, how are you hoping to see your career evolve in that field?
So my experience always goes back to when I was younger. Like I always like I just talk about accommodations. Yes, I have a dual education plan. I was growing up, I was in second grade, I was placed in a disability platform. And then just so I feel like seeing the different eye of special ed and being part of special ed really opened my eyes up to helping those students. I am all for all students no matter what. I'm not going to discriminate against that because I'm all for all students. But I feel like special ed has always been my heart, especially because I know what it feels like to be labeled, but also walk in the shoes. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it now has helped me with my job because I had the same experience working in job training. So I think like so far, like with job coaching, it's been going good because I can help the kids work.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also because I know how they feel because I was actually I'm not doing kitchen work because I with this because they do kitchen work, but like I can help them measure stuff or I can help them make beds or show them, hey, this is how we do like shred paper or something like that. Like clerical jobs, we call it or pays lab, which is like building stuff and like hands-on stuff and like the apartment's more like the food, making beds, washing laundry and all. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like as my experience of being in that, being young and all, and then now growing up
Mm-hmm.
and being almost my age I am now, it's nice to see how yes, education has changed and is growing, but also with the special ed is growing. I feel like it's growing each day. So I feel like we need to be that biggest advocate for them because I feel like if we're not, it's not gonna get any better. And I feel like with us, with the teachers or educators, even themselves, they could be the support system too. So I feel like, but also when I feel like with my degree, I want to get my degree I'm in now for Westchester is like for grad school. I feel like I want to get into more of the advocacy work. So that's where I think my goal is to be
Mm-hmm.
to get into advocacy too, but also still help out, especially over
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah, that's great. We definitely need people advocating for policy changes and those types of regulations to make sure that these things are happening in our schools and in our state system. So I think that's really important that you're doing that work, and I kind of can't wait to watch your journey. So kind of Kayla, as a final question, what advice would you give to Manor students who are currently in programs and they're all on summer break right now, but they're going to come back soon? What advice would you give them as someone who's been through it and to encourage them?
Okay, so I actually use this quote a lot. And actually, this is the first quote that I took to myself since I started Manor in 2015, and
Mm,
it's still going with me since now.
mm,
You had to be your biggest advocate. You
mm,
had to show up for yourself no matter what, and make relationships, talk to your professors, and just have fun, but also just like be your biggest advocate because really no one's going to do it for you. And you made this change. You're going to wake up every day and say, okay, I don't want to go to class today. Okay, well, you'll miss it. then maybe reach out to your professor and say, hey, what did I miss? Don't expect it to be online because really it could lock at any time. Or
Mhm.
reach out to your professor and say, hey, I'm struggling. That's something like I feel like with me, like if you could be the biggest advocate for yourself, you could show that, hey, I could do this. Like, be proud of yourself, but also be your biggest advocate because in the long run, it's your degree. Are you happy that you made this decision? If you're not, be like me, change your mind. It's okay. It's okay to change your mind.
Mhm.
And it's okay to make irrational decisions. Like I get to my grad degree. I was in special ed, then I changed it to a different degree, or with my degrees that matter. It's okay. It's always okay to change your mind. But also, like I said, be your biggest advocate because in this lifetime, you have nothing to prove in nobody but yourself.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Be your biggest advocate. So true and so well said. And it's so cool to hear your story. So thank you so much, Kayla, for joining us today. And I wish you all the best. And we'll be cheering you along as you continue your education and your career. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for everything.
Right. Bye bye.